Well, hey there, everyone, and welcome to Energy Gal. My name is Lisa, and my hope for you in this very moment is that you would see me seeing you. You know, in quantum physics, everything is a wave until it is seen, and then it becomes a particle. And I've been pondering lately that maybe that's why it's an innate desire for every single one of us to want to be seen. To truly want to be seen for truly who we are. And sometimes we ache to be seen because we don't even see ourselves. I was out and about the other day at a cute little shop in the area, and the proprietor there was just a delicious soul. And I could see her so clearly, and I could see that she couldn't necessarily see herself. And I hoped that I became a reflection to her of her beauty and her amazing essence. I'm hoping that she went from wave to particle, to knowing that she has substance and purpose. Why? Because I saw her, and in me seeing her, she began to see herself. So today I want to talk about the paradox of groundlessness and grounding. I talk a lot on my channel about grounding into the body. But Pema Chodron, in her The Places That Scare You, she talks about groundlessness. And that had me curious, because I'm all about, now hold on, we should be grounding into our body, coming back down into our bodies. And she wholeheartedly agreed. Her groundlessness was more not abiding in the mind, cutting loose from the ego that thinks it knows everything, because then it is not open to other opinions or other ways of seeing things. It travels through the world to say, that's right, that's right, that's right, only comparing it to what it already knows and believes. And so I think that my journey has been incredibly much more, well, adventurous, that's for sure, but much more enlightening as I've come to be accepting and open to everything that's out and about. And if there's some things I leave on a shelf and some things I go, that's probably not for me, but I'm not saying that's wrong. It's just not for me. And then there's some things that I'm like, yeah, I'm still hanging my hat on that. Not that I believe that it's right or wrong, but for me, for now, it's a truth that I abide in. So the groundlessness that she talks about is an everyday practice of coming out of the mind. I'll read a little bit of what she says here. Oh, and then I want to end with an amazing vision that I had during a meditation I had a couple of weeks ago that rocked my socks. And I think that I am still in process of integrating it, but I want to transmission it to you before we go here today. So don't let me forget. Remind me. Okay. She talks about, imagine a dialogue with the Buddha, and he asks you this: how do you perceive reality? And we answer honestly, well, I perceive it as separate from me and solid. And he says, no, look deeper. So we go away and meditate and sincerely contemplate this question. We return to the Buddha and we say, I know the answer now. The answer is that everything is not solid. Everything is empty. And he says, no, look deeper. And then we say, well, that's impossible. It's either one way or the other, empty or not empty, right? And he says, no. Well, if this were our boss, Pema writes, perhaps we wouldn't care, but this is the Buddha. And, so we think, maybe I have to hang in there a bit and go further with the irritation I'm feeling at not being given any satisfaction. And so we meditate and contemplate this question. We discuss it with our friends. And next time we see the Buddha, we say, I think I can answer your question. Everything is both empty and not empty simultaneously. And he says, no, Believe me, we're feeling very groundless, and that means rattled. Very groundless. We've come out of that egoic, I know everything, and I know I can rely on this, and this is the truth, and this and that. So we're feeling very groundless, not in the mind. It's uncomfortable not to be able to get that ground under our feet. But the process here is of unmasking. Even though we're irritated and anxious, we're moving closer to seeing the true, unfixed nature of mind. Since no is all we can get out of the Buddha, we go home and spend the next year trying to answer this riddle. It's like a Zen koan. And that is, it's like a Rubik's Cube mental towel that you have in the dryer, and you bounce it over and over and over again, and every time you open up the dryer it's still a little damp, and you never quite get to a dry towel. But there's a reason for that. It's so that you can get to the point where you realize, oh, hold on, maybe the answer isn't in my mind. Eventually we return to the Buddha and we say, okay, there's only one other possible answer. The nature of reality is that it neither exists nor doesn't exist. It's neither form nor emptiness. And don't we feel good? It's a beautiful, groundless answer. But the Buddha says, no, that's too limited an understanding. Maybe at this point his no is such a shock that we experience the wide open mind of which she calls prana paramita, the mind that is satisfied with no resting place at all. And she goes on to say that the story goes on that many of the students of Buddha who were asking this question were so dumbfounded by these teachings that they had heart attacks. It's probably more likely that they just got up and walked out of the talk, she says. They didn't want to hear this. They're like us. We don't like to have our basic assumptions challenged. It's just too threatening. And she goes on to say, though, but to the extent that we stop struggling against uncertainty and ambiguity, to that extent we dissolve our fear. And in that place of fearlessness is full enlightenment, wholehearted, open-minded interaction with our world. So we train in patiently moving in that direction, learning to relax with and into that groundlessness. We can gradually connect with the mind that she says knows no fear. With that Christ consciousness, with that consciousness, that mind that is above and beyond understanding. A wisdom that surpasses what we can understand because it's outside of, it's outside of things that make logical sense. See, the mind wants to keep in a place of logic. And there are some things that just don't make sense. And I really understood this when I had children. I have 5 beautiful souls. And I can tell you that there were times with my kids, oh my God, they would be sassy pants with me. I probably had some of it coming. And then they would go maybe, when they got older, they might go a week or 2 weeks or whatever without even texting me, or I'd be texting them and they won't respond. Their lives are busy. And you know what? It didn't make me love them any less. It didn't make me want to go, well, you know what? I'm out. I tap. You're going to be like that? Forget that. This unconditional love, it doesn't make sense to me. It's not logical. What's the return on investment? The ROI sucks. And yet, I can't imagine it any other way. So it's this illogical that I don't know how to explain it to you. So it's grounded in the body, groundless in the mind. And this is that journey of enlightenment. So here's the vision. Here's the vision. And I think the reason that I precede talking with you is that this blew my mind. This particular vision blew my mind, but it also blew everything wide open. You know, there are so many times I think, what's my purpose? And that's what the meditation is going to be on this week. What's our purpose? And from this vision, I started to understand my purpose. So if you want to receive this transmission, here we go. So I'm in meditation, and I have this vision of myself being given birth by my mom. Or no, actually it started off with me giving birth to my daughter, and then it went back and my mom giving birth to me, and then her mom giving birth to her, and then her mom giving birth to her, and it went back and back and back and back until Mother Earth gave birth to that first woman. And then I saw Mother Earth being given birth by her mom. And then Mother Earth's mom being given birth by her mom. And it just kept on going further out and out and out until this time I had completely lost my physical form, and I was out in what I considered to be like the quantum. And in the quantum, it's all of this, for me, it's mostly silver sparkles. And it's like opaque light. It's not dark at all because there's a lot of light from these glittery sparkles, and yet I wouldn't say it's white light either. So it's something I can't describe, but it's this glitter that shines, and I know that I'm in the quantum. And in that place of the quantum, I heard this in my belly. I felt it down into my belly. I get out into the quantum, and it's less about hearing voices because I think everything is telepathic, but it's more about feeling something into my body. And I felt into my body profoundly, profoundly. Nothing matters. Nothing matters. It was this complete, absolute, utter 111% letting go of anything I thought my mind needed to know and figure out, and all these responsibilities that I needed to make sure and all the lists that I needed to make sure I kept and then crossed off, and at the end of my life to make sure I got it all done and knew it all. And in this place, it's nothing mattered. And it wasn't like it came into here. It came in almost like through my belly button, down into that hara, H-A-R-A, that space below the belly button that is life source space. It came into there and it rested in, or maybe it just woke up in there. And it was like, you couldn't not talk me out of this. I knew beyond anything. I knew beyond what made sense in my brain that nothing matters. So you can just take a load off, man. Just take a load off. Nothing matters. It was the most free and easy. And in that place of not trying to, oh my God, do I need to make sure I'm doing this? How much money do I have in the bank? Is it okay to spend money on this? How do I make sure that my business goes for the... All of that was just like gone. And it was this ease that was not explainable. It was only experiential. And I began to then in that place witness myself experiencing this quantum field of nothing matters. So I had gone further out than just me experiencing this. And I thought, okay, this is pretty far out. This is interesting. And I began to feel myself being pulled further and further out into the quantum field, further out and further out. I wasn't swimming, I wasn't trying. Who's the great there is no try. I'm telling you, there is no try. You just be, and in that place of being, truly just being, and in wonder and awe of the beingness of it. Again, this is groundless. I was being pulled further out. I was being pulled and also witnessing myself being pulled further out past the quantum. I found myself out in this place where there was no glitter, no sparkle, and it was only blackness, complete darkness. There was nothing to see. And when I say there was nothing to hear, there wasn't anything to listen to except I could feel this vibration of Om. This constant Om that was almost like the heartbeat of a child in the womb hearing the mom's heartbeat. It felt so comforting. I felt more like home than ever before. And in that place of being outside of the quantum field, which I didn't know existed, that there was a place outside the quantum field, I felt like it was this void, this nothingness. I also felt this drop into my belly as just something I just knew. Everything matters. Every little detail, down to the wink of an eye, matters. It all incredibly matters. It makes a difference. And as I can't even say floating, as I was existing in that void, as the I had this longing and this absolute desire to know myself even bigger. And I understood that the more everything matters, and that everything that we do as this iteration of Lisa, as that iteration of Stephen, as that iteration of John or Mary or Peter, as each one of them experience who they are, and just breathing and being, the good and the bad and the ugly of all of it, the rocks, the trees, the fish, everything, it all adds to the expansion of the isness of all, of God, of consciousness, knowing who it is, experiencing itself, and further expanding in its allness and its am presence. So I came back out of my meditation with this nothing matters, complete release of responsibility and onus, and trying to figure it out and be so serious about it. And everything matters. And desiring deeply to experience every moment, even the fear, and to realize, oh, even that is something that's juicy and expanding. There's nothing to throw out. The baby and the bathwater are all amazing and good and worthwhile and worthy and godness. And in that moment, I realize I'm groundless. And I will never be the same. And I can share this with you, and you can get this transmission, but it is my desire that you experience this for yourself for a couple of reasons. It's way better to have experienced it yourself than just to hear me. Like, you can get a little something from what I'm going through, but to experience it for yourself, oh, so much better. I can tell you about a piece of cake, but you eat the piece of cake, you know about it a lot better than than just from hearing about it. So I want you to experience that. But I have such a desire for everybody to awaken, not so they can be saved, not so that they can get to 5D or 7D or whatever the heck we're talking about, but so that we as an entire everythingness can experience more of ourselves. When you experience more of yourself, so do I. There is no other. We are one. I got all the way out there looking at it all, and I thought, oh my God, we think we're separate. And we're not. We've got this illusion of separateness, but heck, while we're here, use that illusion. It's kind of cool. That's how we get to know each other even more, through the separateness. So use it, not as a bad thing. So this is what I am going to be creating, which I haven't done yet, the guided meditation on. Groundlessness. I'm not exactly sure, because whenever I press play, I don't have anything figured out. I let it just flow through me. So, hey, if you are still here with me, thank you so much. You give me a place to offer, and that is priceless to me. You are priceless to me. The version of me that is you thinks you're awesome. Thank you so much. And the version of you that sees me and is saying, oh my goodness, wow, it's just you in me. A couple of things. If you ever want one-on-one, check the info below. I'm available. I'm a great listener. Number 2, if you want to hear about any other specific topic, please let me know. I'm a projector. I like to be pulled on and asked and invited into a conversation. Then I'll know what it is to offer you. And number 3, share this with anybody who you think might be benefited by it. And number 4, thank you for being here. And we end with another breath. Yeah. Wow. Wow. This is epiphany. Take this and this. Intertwine. Place it over your heart. And welcome the epiphany of groundlessness while staying grounded. Look for that guided meditation and a sound bowl meditation that will connect really well with what it is that I shared with you today. Thanks, everyone, and peace be with you.